It's not going to get any better, is it? So Wrong Turn 3 Left 4 Dead tells the story of a group of prisoners trying to escape captivity and a grisly fate laid upon them by psycho hillbilly inbreds. Welcome back everybody to the Wrong Turn review series. If you missed my first two reviews, I have full reviews for the original Wrong Turn as well as Wrong Turn 2. Go check those out after you are done with this one if you're interested, and we are going to continue trekking through this god-awful franchise up to the release, VOD and Blu-ray release of the brand new Wrong Turn, which I'm crossing my fingers might be the light at the end of the tunnel for this franchise. So Wrong Turn 3 Left 4 Dead, from here on out, these are all movies that I have never seen before. They are all first-time watches for me. I had seen Wrong Turn 2 once, way back in the day, but that might as well have been a fresh watch. And in the comments section of my Wrong Turn 2 review, it seemed like the popular answer was that this one was amongst the worst. So I walked into this one with even lower expectations than I walked into with Wrong Turn 2. Wrong Turn 3 does a lot of the same mistakes while trying to do a few things different. So where does that end up as far as the comparison with the other two movies? What is the good and the bad of Wrong Turn 3 Left 4 Dead? Well, starting right off with the positives, I will say that this group of prisoners that we are following along with, as well as the couple of cops or escort prison guards that they are with, I'm slightly more interested in their peril and their story than I was with the group of Survivor contestants. I like the fact that even though they're poor characters, I mean, we'll get into all that. All the obvious shit is going to be negative with this movie. There's always an interesting dynamic when you have a lot of really despicable, unlikable people in a slasher movie like this. I mean, you have to have one or two characters to root for, which we do, but when you fill out all of your body count, all of your cannon fodder with people that we probably would be okay with watching getting slaughtered, it somehow makes the slashing a little bit more fun for me. So following with these prisoners, where you got a lot of really despicable people, you have neo-Nazis that every single word out of their mouth is something racist. You got the really cool, calm, calculated Hispanic guy that kind of, I guess, is some kind of a kingpin, and he becomes more the leader of this prisoner group, and the more stuff that they have to endure throughout the runtime, the more unhinged and a little bit more wild that he gets. And even just the setup of how we get our characters into this setting, how do we get them to the danger, to Three Finger, when you have a group of prisoners that his barbed wire takes out their tires and now they're stuck in his territory. It's a decent setup for a quick little B-movie slasher like this. And while this more often than not will end up in the negative side of the review, I actually thought this movie was so stupid at times that it actually made me laugh. And that was a positive side of my experience. From some of the characters, to the performances, to the dialogue coming out of their mouths. I mean, you got the main guy, the main prisoner here, who's supposed to be the smart, calculated kingpin one, and this guy must have had like short-term memory, because every single time he gets into a situation, he was like 5-second Tom from 50 First Dates. I mean, you got Three Finger up in the trees, dropping a fucking spike onto a sheriff, and they're shooting at him, and like 3 seconds later, he's like, ah! All right, let's go. Let's get the fuck out of here. Comes to a point in the movie where him and the main white supremacist guy come to fisticuffs, and this is a guy that's been antagonizing him the whole movie, and this is a character that is not afraid or not biased whatsoever when it comes to just murdering fools, but when it comes to this guy, he's just beating the shit out of him. You racist motherfucker! All right, let's go. You have these bags of money, which kind of becomes the main subplot of the second act of the film. They find this armored truck and all this money, and he's gonna find some plot, some way to escape all of this and escape with the money. So they leave it in a certain spot, and then the white supremacist guy ends up finding it and taking it, and he runs after him because this money is so important to him, right? He gets there, sees that the shit's on fire, and he's like, no! All right, let's go. And speaking of dumb dialogue, I mean, this movie opens up with like a false start with a group of characters that get picked off pretty damn quick in the first couple of minutes. And what was it about 2009 where slasher movies had to have dialogue of some guy admiring tits in front of him?
You have perfect tits.
Your tits are stupendous. Your tits are fucking just...
I know.
Moving on to the mixed aspects, the main one for me with this one was the kills. On paper, like the execution of these kills, the design of them, they're actually pretty badass. There's one where a guy actually gets drug up with barbed wire attached to Three Fingers' tow truck and gets driven off while he's like stuck in this barbed wire cocoon. That was a badass kill. So far in the series, that might be my favorite kill of the entire franchise thus far. And there's a lot of other kills in here that are pretty neat. You've got like a little trap that splits a guy into 3 pieces, and there's another one with the scythe that comes down and takes the guy's face off. Where it's mixed is that aside from that barbed wire kill, almost every single kill in this movie is great for a second and then turns horrible because they paint CGI over the practical effects that they clearly used. They prequeled this thing. I mean, just in general, CGI tends to take the wind out of the sails when it comes to kills in slasher films, but this film is using CGI from like Microsoft Paint. It is god awful. There's like every kill, half of it looks great and then it's ruined. And now for the negatives. A lot of these are going to be quick, typical shots that you can take at pretty much any generic slasher film. The characters are pretty bad. The acting is god awful. I mean, the characters in this, just like the second film, are just caricatures. You got the white angry supremacist guy, you've got the angry calculated Mexican guy, you've got the cop that's trying to be a little bit rough on the edges, but he's got the heart of gold, so we're gonna keep him and he's gonna be the one we're gonna root for. You could almost turn the sound off and just look at this cast of characters and be like, okay, I know the personality of every single person that I'm looking at right now, and you'd probably be right. Whereas Wrong Turn 2 really kind of turned me off with how much they played up the incest side of things, this one turned me off with something that I've always kind of had a gripe with when it comes to cannibal horror films. And shit, this might have even been something that happened in the second film that I just forgot to mention. It always bugs me when you see a cannibal just eat raw people. Like, I'm pretty sure, I've never met any, but I'm pretty sure cannibals like their shit cooked. I mean, humans don't taste very good or don't really process very well in your system when you're just eating them raw, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, it opens up where a chick's eyeball comes out and he literally just takes the eyeball and just eats it raw. I understand. It's a weird thing to gripe about. I mean, when you got a movie about unstoppable, invincible, hillbilly, inbred cannibals and stupid-ass characters getting picked off, that's the weird thing to focus on. But I'm just being honest. Anytime I watch a cannibal movie, be it this or Green Inferno, and they do that, it always fucks with me. I'm like, I don't think that's how it works. It's done for gross out, shock value, I get it. It's a me thing. It's a gripe that I have. It's one of my bugaboos. I don't think it did this movie very many favors either to just have one singular villain. Yes, he has his son for part of the movie, but he's taken out as quickly as he's introduced. So really you just have Three Finger for the entirety of this movie. And he is kind of the signature villain thus far. He's the only one that's really memorable, and I understand why he's the recurring villain. But to just go from having a group dynamic in the first 2 movies to being just one singular villain, even though he does a lot of damage by himself, it kind of takes away a part of that wrong turn element. Part of that element is having this family in the woods, and you run away from a guy who's that way, and then you end up falling into somebody's trap that's on that side of the fucking woods. I mean, it felt like there was something missing. He's a good villain, he's entertaining for what he's trying to do, but I miss that group dynamic. And assuming, of course, that they don't give some explanation why he returns in part 4 or part 5, I thought that the death of Three Finger was pretty lame. I mean, this is a character that has now been in 3 films that has been blown up, set on fire, knocked out of a tree, got the shit beat out of him, been shot, been dragged around, and this guy has endured everything. And just a generic character taking a hook and swiping him in one little quick move that takes him out. I don't know if that's really a worthy death for that character. Like I said, I haven't seen the sequel, so if he comes back and this is all bullshit, then you can ignore what I'm saying. But if this is the last time we see Three Finger, that's kind of lame. My final negative, speaking of lame, what the fuck was that ending? That was ridiculous. You have the triumph, you have Three Finger who is killed, you have the main good guy cop, you have the chick who's the victim from the beginning who's surviving, and then you have the prisoner with the heart of gold who's like, I promised you I didn't kill anybody, I'm wrongfully accused. You have those 3 people survive, and then the movie quickly cuts to, aha, the good guy cop's actually kind of a dick and he's gonna go back and get the money for his own gain. But wait, there's more. oh shit, the prisoner who's been pretending to be a good guy all along is actually a fucking murderer, and he kills the good guy cop, and now he's going to take the riches. But wait, there's more. Oh shit, there's actually another hillbilly cannibal that I guess was just taking a nap for the entirety of the runtime of this fucking movie that shows up at the very end to enact that hillbilly inbred justice. You know those movies that have like multiple endings and it kind of annoys you because you keep like getting that feeling like, all right, I'm about to get up out of my seat because the credits about to roll. Yeah, this movie gives you that feeling 3 times within the span of about a minute and a half. All in all, guys, is this a good movie? No, it's really not. But for some reason, I kind of enjoyed it more than the last one. I might be on an island with that one. I don't know if it was the lowered expectations with my experience from the second one or the fact that everybody was making it out like this one was going to be such a worse chapter than the second one, but I almost had fun with how bad that it was. I liked some of the kills. I actually thought one of them was pretty awesome. I enjoyed some of the character dynamics with these prisoners and that kind of being the setting that we are in with this slasher film, a bunch of fucked up dudes that's now going to get fucked up themselves. But just like the other ones, very cheap quality, very cheap characters, very cheap writing, not the best villain in the world when you have him by himself, and not a very good ending. If you want serious quality film, steer clear, but if you like this franchise for what it's given you, then check out Wrong Turn 3 online and stream it. So what do you guys think of Wrong Turn 3 Left 4 Dead? I'm sure I'm going to be in the minority with liking this one a little bit more than the second one, but again, we're comparing turds here, people, so don't get too offended. What is your thoughts? Let me know down below. Which of the remaining Wrong Turns are you really looking forward to my review for? Let me know which one I'm going to have the most fun with, I guess is the phrase. Talk to me down below. We will discuss Wrong Turn. Are you excited for the new one? Tell me that down below as well. Like and share this video. Hit that subscribe button. And as always, guys, remember, opinions are like assholes, but that doesn't mean that you have to be.